All right. First and foremost, want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto the Most High God Yahweh. We do so in the name of His only begotten Son, who the world calls Jesus Christ, Yahweh Shai. It's your brother, Chief Priest, Alazar One Lawyer, of the SICARRI. So I give 1 second. 1 second. Damn, y'all already up in here. Shalom. So like it. All right, so like it. Just want to make sure everything was right. Yeah, like and share. Like and share. I'm in damn Facebook jail again. I'm in Facebook jail again. So make sure y'all putting it on the book, because I currently do not have the ability, unfortunately. These devils, man, they got it out for me. Really got it out for me. But yeah, so I want to get into a couple of topics this morning through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shai. Number one, I saw the film selected. This damn chair is killing me. But yeah, I saw the film this weekend in Detroit. And first and foremost, let me give all praises to Yahweh Shai for a beautiful Detroit summit. Was there for every day of the event, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It was beautiful through the grace and spirit of the Most High. Brotherly love, unity, the Hebrew Israelite family coming together. Powerful street teachers. I know y'all seen some of the videos. Later on today, I'll be releasing my portion of the Sabbath service lesson, going over the book of Psalms, the 2nd chapter. That should be out in the next few hours here on this channel. But it was beautiful. So that as like the exclamation point at the end of the summit after the cookout, I went to the movies, myself and some others, and we took in Black Klansman, new Spike Lee joint, just dropped this last weekend. And I'm not going to give any spoilers away. I'm just going to kind of sum it up in as quickly as I can in one Bible verse. I mean, it was a cool film. It was a Spike Lee joint, so it was classic Spike Lee. He did his thing. It certainly wasn't a bad movie. I wouldn't say, but I want to read this. Job 14:4. Who can bring a clean thing out of an unclean? Not one. And as y'all will see, if you haven't yet seen the film, it is a brother's attempt to bring a clean thing out of an unclean thing. What is the unclean thing? The police force, the American justice system, etc. That's the unclean thing that the brother is trying to bring a clean thing out of. And the moral of the story will be, of course, that you can't do that. All right. That's all I'll give away. I won't give away any particular parts of the film. But I just wanted to briefly sum it up in Job 14:4. I believe that scripture speaks to the overall theme of the movie the most accurately, right? So I just wanted to bring that out as far as that went, right? But there is rather something on my spirit that I want to go into. For those of y'all that aren't in the Facebook world, you're missing out on a lot of madness, and it's good. It's a good thing. It's not a bad thing. There's a lot of madness that goes on in the Facebook world. We know, but it also happens here on YouTube, like there's spillover. But on YouTube and on Facebook, there is a segment of Hebrew Israelites who are identified as Negro only, right? Negro only, meaning they deny the 12 Tribes chart, and they deny the nationality and heritage of the indigenous peoples of the Americas, who are falsely so-called Native Indian, Amerindian, Hispanic, Latino, etc. They like to deny the ancestry of our brothers and sisters. And they've been around for the last few years, and you've seen them spreading their heresies, and some of them have been bold enough to show their face on YouTube, but for the most part, they're really not bold. They're a lot of keyboard warriors, etc. With that being said, over the course of time, we know. Let me just get the scripture. This is Isaiah 11 and 13. The envy of Ephraim shall depart, and the adversaries of Judah shall be cut off. Ephraim shall not envy Judah, and Judah shall not vex Ephraim. So what the Negro only mindset brothers are doing are vexing Ephraim. And I don't understand what quote unquote Negro only people don't understand about what they're doing, and what they're doing is actually further proving who the Northern Kingdom is. You're further proving it, because you are going out. You're not vexing. There's no other segment of society that you are going out of your way to vex more than the Hispanic tribe, so-called Hispanic tribe, the Native Indian tribe. You're vexing them. Why? Because they're Ephraim and you're Judah, and you're vexing Ephraim. You see what I'm saying? But it also talks about the envy of Ephraim. And I believe that this vexation of Ephraim is causing the envy of certain of the Northern Kingdom, so to speak, not just Ephraim, encompassing all the Northern Kingdom tribes, to now meet that vexation with the resistance fueled by envy. And that resistance is now leading people to what we call a Latino-only doctrine. And when I saw it, I laughed at it initially, and I said, well, it was inevitable, predicated upon the level of vexation that Negro-onlys are putting our brothers through. It's inevitable, right? So as we have gone out of our way, or when I say we, of course, not myself, I've always recognized them as our brothers. But when I say we, I'm in reference to the Southern Kingdom, quote unquote Negro, African American, West Indian, Haitian brothers. Certain of us have called these brothers Spaniards, or they're Spaniards, they're Mongoloids, they're Moabites, they're Japhites, they're all these things. So now what are they saying? Well, you Negroes, y'all are Hamites. Only some of y'all are Israelites. Y'all are mostly Hamite. Y'all are Canaanites. And of course, again, at first, I thought it was funny. I didn't think brothers were serious. But now it seems that some of them are becoming very serious and adamant about this ideology, which is so problematic. Deacon Hakab, of course, at the camp, posted a very powerful very powerful question on Facebook in regards to this, in response to all this. And he says, where is it prophesied that the Canaanites would be the salt of the earth? There's no denying that the Negro, West Indian, Haitian is the salt of the earth, along with Hispanic man. Let's not get that twisted. If we take a look at our pop culture, as well as engineering, what's the word I'm looking for? Our pop culture and engineering contributions that we made to the world. We've made contributions to this world that have become a part of the fabric and the foundation of which this world runs. Both Blacks and Latinos and Native Indians have done that. So we all are collectively the salt of the earth. Let's never get that twisted. So the brother posed that question, of course, confounded many of the proponents of this Latino-only heresy that's coming out. And, it is what it is. But the majority of them are not saying now that the Southern Kingdom are not Israelites. What some of them are trying to now do is, which I'll speak about, and I was able to speak to one of the more predominant brothers of this kind of school of thought yesterday, and it was a very great conversation. The brother has a lot of respect for us, and commented as to how much he's been able to learn from us, and we give all praises to Yahweh Shai for that. But there's a notion that basically the brother made a statement, and he was just talking about how Northern Kingdom needs to come together and gird themselves and study more and things of that nature as a collective, which I'm all for. I commented to him about an SICARRI brother who made a comment to me about how I know more about the Aztec history than he did. And, because I try to know everything about every tribe that I can, but also you should be an expert in your tribe. That's something that you certainly should be. So I have no problem with the Northern Kingdom learning about their tribes, of course, and becoming experts in their tribe. Like we had a Negro-only dude who wanted to question one of our Zebulonite brothers, Officer Abijah, one time. And I was teaching, but instead, when he questioned the identity of the tribe of Zebulon, I handed it over to Abijah, and I let him defend his tribe because he is an expert through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushua in his tribe, the tribe of Zebulon, the people of Central America, of Guatemala to Panama. He's an expert in that field of the ancient Mayans. He has documents, he has biblical breakdowns, he has everything through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. So I handed it over to him, and it's beautiful to be able to do that. I'm always going to be able to, Lord willing, defend my brothers of the Northern Kingdom persuasion and have this information, but I would like even more for y'all to do it yourself. The same way I consider myself an expert in the tribe of Levi, backwards and forwards, secular and biblical in every aspect. You understand what I'm saying? Levitical or Haitian culture, etc. I know about this. I make it my business to know as much as I can about all of it. Why? So if anyone ever questions my tribe, I'm able to defend it at the apex of information. You understand what I'm saying? So I understand that, and that's fine, and we love that. But then the notion or the ideology began to become prominent that these Northern Kingdom wanted to gather by themselves. Now they're tired of this black supremacist ideology where they're treated as second-class citizens, or they're being told that they're not even Israelites, etc. So they started to get the notion that they needed to gather Northern Kingdom only and build Northern Kingdom only. That is also problematic. And that's what I want to speak about and go into today through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushua with the precepts. It's how problematic it is to gather Northern Kingdom only, to gather any kingdom only. Highly problematic. But I want to help brothers to understand that. And by no means do I want to attack those brothers. And I understand where a lot of this is coming from, a lot of that vexation and that resistance that you're receiving. And very unwarranted, might I add, is, it's ridiculous. So, certain things are bound to happen to certain brothers after, having to go through, too much of that, right? But to understand the error in separating the kingdoms, we have to go into the history and how the kingdoms even got separated to begin with. So that's what I want to go into now. We're going to start here in 1 Kings. 1 Kings 11 and starting at 1. But King Solomon loved many strange women, together with the daughter of Pharaoh, an Egyptian woman, women of the Moabites, Ammonites, Edomites, Zidonians, and Hittites, right? Of the nations concerning which Yahweh said unto the children of Israel, ye shall not go into them, neither shall they come in unto you, for surely they will turn away your heart after their gods. Solomon clave unto these in love. So Solomon loved many strange women, right? So notice it says, and Hittites of the nations concerning which Yahweh said to the children of Israel, you shall not go in unto them, right? The Hittites. So let me give y'all some Torah context in the spirit on that statement. This is Deuteronomy 7 and starting at 1. When Yahweh thy power shall bring thee into the land whither thou goest to possess it, and have cast out many nations before thee, the Hittites. That's the first nation that's mentioned. The Hittites and the Girgashites and the Amorites and the Canaanites and the Perizzites and the Hivites and the Jebusites, 7 nations greater and mightier than thou. And when Yahweh thy power shall deliver them before thee, thou shalt smite them and utterly destroy them. Thou shalt make no covenant with them, nor show mercy unto them, neither shalt thou make marriages with them. Thy daughter shalt thou not give unto thy son, nor his daughter shalt thou take unto thy son. So that's why it says that after the Hittites, it elaborates at that point, because the Hittites were among the people who explicitly by law are forbidden for us to make marriages with. Okay, people think that people usually read Deuteronomy 7 and they start at verse 3 and they try to make it a blanket statement to apply to all nations, when in fact, if you read contextually and start at 1, it's only in reference to 7 particular Canaanite nations, of which one is the Hittites. So that's why it elaborated after it named the Hittites among some of the women that Solomon had claved to in love, right? And he had verse 3, and he had 700 wives, princesses, and 300 concubines, and his wives turned away his heart. Now those concubines were the women of the nation. The 700 were the women of the nation. That's why it says wives, princesses, wives and princesses, because our women are what? We're princes of the power. Our women are what? Princesses of the power. All right. And the 300 concubines, that was each woman of other nations, Moabite, Ammonite, Edomite, which Edomite there is also a corruption like it is in Deuteronomy 23:7. So that's actually in reference to Syrian women. All right. And Zidonians is the same word there. And Zidonians and Hittites. Right. So he's dealing with various women of Ham and Shem. Right. Verse 4. For it came to pass when Solomon was old that his wives turned away his heart after other gods, and his heart was not perfect with Yahweh his power as the heart of David his father. For Solomon went after Ashtoreth, the goddess of the Zidonians, right? This is where you get Easter from, as well as strip clubs. All of that is associated with the worship of Ashtoreth, right? So this is what Solomon was going after. And after Milcom, the abomination of the Ammonites. And Solomon did evil in the sight of Yahweh, and went not fully after Yahweh, as did his father David. Then did Solomon build an high place for Chemosh, an abomination of Moab, which is a war god, which you see now. They built this huge war god in China. If y'all remember when they did that a couple of years back, that's like the bringing Chemosh back. In the hill that is before Jerusalem. And for Molech, the abomination of the children of Ammon, which you know Molech is the out. Verse 8 now. And likewise did he for all his strange wives, which burnt incense and sacrifice unto their gods. So they named a few particular, but then he said he did likewise for all the nations. So all the heathen women that he had, they made requests to get the gods of their people built so they could worship them. And he did that on their behalf, right? Verse 9. And Yahweh was angry with Solomon, because his heart was turned from Yahweh, power of Israel, which had appeared unto him twice. So the Most High is especially mad because he appeared to Solomon 2 different times, and Solomon still went into idolatry. Verse 10, and commanded him concerning this thing that he should not go after other gods. So when he appeared to him, he made explicit instructions to Solomon to not go after other gods. So he didn't just have to hear it from the Bible like so many of us have done. He actually heard it directly through a medium by the Most High, right? And he still did it, which of course would anger the Most High, right? And had commanded him concerning this thing, that he should not go after other gods, but he kept not which Yahweh commanded. Wherefore Yahweh said unto Solomon, for as much as this is done of thee, and thou hast not kept my covenant and my statutes, which I have commanded thee, I will surely rend the kingdom from thee, and will give it to thy servant. And this is when we see the beginning of the kingdom split. As a result of the idolatry of King Solomon was the kingdom rendered. So if we look at the origins of the split between the north and the south, the whole reason that it had to happen was because of evil and wickedness. So we should not be enforcing or suggesting that we should further it now, because we know that the foundation of this even existing is wickedness, is idolatry. This was a punishment for us to be separate. It was not a reward. So we should be together, right? Verse 12, notwithstanding, in thy days I will not do it for David thy father's sake, but I will rend it out of the hand of thy son. So when Solomon's successor was to reign, that's when this would occur. Verse 13, howbeit I will not rend away all the kingdom, but will give one tribe to thy son of David, my servant's sake, and for Jerusalem's sake, which I have chosen. Right? So now I'm going to skip up to verse 26. And Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, an Ephrathite, of Zeruiah, Solomon's servant, whose mother's name was Zeruiah, a widow woman, even he lifted up his hand against the king. Against what? King Solomon. And this was the cause that he lifted up his hand against the king. So why did he do it? Solomon built Millo and repaired the breaches of the city of David his father. And the man Jeroboam was a mighty man of valor. And Solomon, seeing the young man that he was industrious, he made him ruler over the charge of the house of Joseph. So he made Jeroboam the head of Ephraim and Manasseh, or the house of Joseph. Verse 29. And it came to pass at that time, when Jeroboam went out of Jerusalem, that the prophet Ahijah, the Shilonite, found him in the way, and he had clad himself with a new garment, and they were alone in the field. So here comes this prophet of the Most High to intercept Jeroboam on the way where he was going. Verse 30. And Ahijah caught the new garment that was on him, took the garment that was on Jeroboam and ripped it off him, right? And rent it in 12 pieces. Took it, ripped it off him, and rent it in 12. So cut it in 12 pieces. And he said to Jeroboam, take thee 10 pieces, for thus saith Yahweh, the power of Israel. Behold, I will rend the kingdom out of the hand of Solomon and will give 10 tribes to thee, right? Knowing that what? Judah and Benjamin was going to be given to Solomon. And of course, Levi were scattered in all the coasts. So we're not supposed to be given to anybody. But if you know the history, because we're not going to tackle this part in this lesson, but if you know the history, Levi ended up all coming and sojourning in the south. That's how we became in totality a part of the southern kingdom, right? Salakia, where was I at? Even 10 tribes unto thee, verse 32. But he shall have one tribe for my servant David's sake, and for Jerusalem's sake, the city when I have chosen out of all the tribes of Israel. Because that they have forsaken me and have worshipped Ashtoreth. So why is this kingdom split happening? Again, because of idolatry. And have worshipped Ashtoreth, goddess of the Zidonians, Chemosh, the god of the Moabites, Milcom, the god of the children of Ammon, and have not walked in my ways to do that which is right in my eyes, and to keep my statutes and my judgments as David his father. Howbeit, I will not take the whole kingdom out of his hand, but I will make him prince all the days of his life for David's sake, whom I chose because he kept my commandments and my statutes. So basically, he said there's still going to be a ruler in Judah. He's just only going to be ruling over a smaller amount of tribes. Verse 35, but I will take the kingdom out of his son's hand, and I will give it unto thee, even 10 tribes. So this is that prophecy that was going to Jeroboam. So again, we're seeing the cause of the kingdoms being rent was because of wickedness and idolatry. So this is not something that we should be propagating now. Again, this is a punishment, man. It's an unfortunate thing for a nation to be split the way our nation is, man. It's a hideous thing. It says in Ezekiel 37, we became like two nations. Now we're black and they're Latino, right? We're functioning as two different, separate and unrelated groups of people, though our spirits bear witness that we are one. Our spirits bear witness that we are going through a collective oppression. And anytime when they mention oppression, they mention us simultaneously next to each other. When you mention police brutality, when you mention unfair practices in this world, period, when you mention who's in poverty, who's incarcerated, they always are going to say black and Latino, black and Latino. We go hand in hand with each other, yet we're being identified as two different kingdoms, black and Latino. Then you have black Latinos. Then you have black American Indians. You see what I'm saying? So this colorism and this pseudoscience racial construct that we're identifying one another by, it's all madness. We are the 12 tribes of the children of Israel, period. That's whom we are. And we need to gather predicated upon that premise alone, akkad in the Hebrew, right? But I'm gonna move on to the next chapter, right? This is 1 Kings 12, and I'll start at 1. And Rehoboam went to Shechem, for all Israel would come to Shechem to make him king. Who king? Rehoboam, son of Solomon, right? And it came to pass when Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, who was yet in Egypt, heard of it, for he was fled from the presence of King Solomon, and Jeroboam dwelt in Egypt. So he went to Egypt for a time. That they sent and called him, and Jeroboam and all the congregation of Israel came and spake unto Rehoboam, saying, thy father made our yoke grievous. Here's what the northern kingdom is saying. So there's certain things that aren't elaborated on in depth here during the transition of this power and during Solomon's reign. But apparently, predicated upon what Jeroboam and the northern kingdom is saying to Rehoboam is that Solomon actually was oppressing the northern kingdom during this time. So in addition to his idolatry, he was also being oppressive towards his brothers of the north. That's another evil thing, right? And again, we have to understand this history, because this is how we even got split in the first place. So if we understand that our splitting is only as a result of our wickedness and our righteousness, we can never suggest that we split or gather separately as kingdoms or be segregated separately as kingdoms, right? And it came to Salakia. Thy father, verse 4, thy father made our yoke grievous. Now therefore make thou the Salakia. Now therefore make thou the grievous service of thy father and his heavy yoke, which he put upon us, lighter, and we will serve thee. They said, just lighten up, right? Verse 5. And he said unto them, depart yet for 3 days. Then come again to me, and the people departed. So he said, give me 3 days to counsel and think about this. Then I'll give y'all an answer. This is Rehoboam, now the son of Solomon, right? Who is actually also the son of an Ammonitess woman, right? Which, was one of the gods that was mentioned that Solomon was worshiping. And King Rehoboam consulted with the old men that stood before Solomon, his father, while he yet lived, and said, how do ye advise that I may answer this people? And they spake unto him, saying, if thou wilt be a servant unto this people this day, and wilt serve them, and answer them, and speak good words to them, then they will be thy servants forever. So he said, just be a public servant, be a brother to these people, right? But verse 8, watch this, but he forsook the counsel of the old man. See, look at this wickedness, look at this pride that's being displayed. This is why we function and began to function as two separate nations, out of pride, out of evil, out of wickedness, man, out of nothing else. But he forsook the counsel of the old men, which they had given him, and consulted with the young men that were grown up with him, and which stood before him. Now here's a bunch of young niggas gathering together, and the spirit of Jeroboam is coming back, and brothers need to repent up out of it. Or spirits of Rehoboam and Jeroboam are coming back, and they're satanic spirits, right? And he said unto them, what counsel give ye that we may answer this people who have spoken to me, saying, make the yoke which thy father did upon us lighter? And the young men that were grown up with him spake unto him, saying, thus shalt thou speak unto his people, unto this people rather, that thou speak unto Salakia, that spake unto thee, saying, thy father made our yoke heavy, but make thou it lighter unto us. Thus thou shalt say unto them, my little finger shall be thicker than my father's loins. Right? Meaning, if you think my father put you through it, I'm going to put y'all through some real hell. Verse 11. And now, whereas my father did lay you with a heavy yoke, I will add to your yoke. My father had chastised you with whips, but I will chastise you with scorpions. Right? And if you look up that term scorpion in the Hebrew, it's going to tell you a very specific type of whip. Right? So that's what was happening. So instead of being a brother, he said, I'm going to put y'all through further hell. Right? So I want to get a precept on that briefly. This is Proverbs 6 and 16. These 6 things doth Yahweh hate. Yea, 7 things are an abomination unto him. I'm going to skip to 19 because this is where the point is. A false witness that speaketh lies, and he that soweth discord among brethren. So that discord that got sown that led to this kingdom split, that was the catalyst to it, is something that the Most High God hates. So we can't, again, further this, because the Most High hates that discord that be amongst the kingdoms, right? I'm going to pick it right back up here, back in 1 Kings 12, and I'm going to start back at 12. And it says, so Jeroboam and all the people came to Rehoboam the 3rd day, as the king had appointed, saying, come to me again the 3rd day. And the king answered the people roughly, and forsook the old men's counsel that they gave him, and spake to them after the counsel of the young men, saying, my father made your yoke heavy, and I will add to your yoke. My father also chastised you with whips, but I will chastise you with scorpions. Wherefore the king hearkened not unto the people, for the cause was from Yahweh. So the Most High is doing this again as a punishment. Remember, this is all a punishment. This is why all this is happening. This is why the kingdoms are splitting, as a punishment from Yahweh, that he might perform his saying, which Yahweh spake by Ahijah the Shilonite unto Jeroboam the son of Nebat. So when all Israel saw that the king hearkened not unto them, the people answered, the king saying, what portion have we in David? And that's essentially what certain Northern Kingdom brothers are doing right now. Well, what portion have we in David? You guys talk all this black supremacy. Well, we're not a part of that technically. That's how they feel. Why? Because they've been brainwashed under, and to some degree, they still have that residue of having that white supremacist pseudoscience on them, right? Because we're all really different shades of brown. No one's actually black in the first place. And that in part was used to divide us from each other. Neither have we difference, neither have we inheritance in the son of Jesse. To your tents, O Israel, now see to thine own house, David. So Israel departed unto the tent. So he told Rehoboam, David, go to your own house. You're from David. You guys are here. We're going to go into all our coasts, right? But as for the children of Israel, which dwelt in the cities of Judah, Rehoboam reigned over them, right? So that at that time was Judah and Benjamin, and the Levites that were there. And eventually, of course, all the Levites resorted to Rehoboam. Okay, you can read about that in the next chapter of Kings. But I'm going to skip now to chapter 26. And it says, and Jeroboam said in his heart, now shall the kingdom return to the house of David. So now the Most High, here's where the major problem comes in. The Most High is upset with Solomon. As a result of him being upset with Solomon, he says he's going to take the kingdom from Solomon, right? So he's going to take the kingdom from Solomon. Great. He does it. Jeroboam got the northern kingdom. Rehoboam got the southern kingdom, right? But then Jeroboam thinks an evil thought. And let's isolate it again. And Jeroboam said in his heart, thought to himself, now shall the kingdom return to the house of David. He got there. The Most High promised him 10 tribes, right? The split had happened. They're rebelling against the southern kingdom. But this Ephraimite said, they're going to return to David. They're going to return, right? As if the word of Yahweh promising him 10 tribes wasn't good enough. Verse 27, if this people go up to do sacrifice in the house of Yahweh at Jerusalem, then shall the heart of this people turn again to their Lord, even unto Rehoboam the king of Judah. Because the central place of worship in Israel is Jerusalem. You have to come to the southern kingdom, right? There's no way around that if you're going to worship our God, Yahweh. Him recognizing this, he goes, well, if we still as a people are looking at Jerusalem as the central place of our nation, they're eventually going to logically begin to follow behind Rehoboam as a king, and I will be taken out of my place. I won't be the king anymore. It wasn't enough the Most High told him he was going to be king. That wasn't enough, right? He now was beginning to operate in the spirit of jealousy, and jealousy is a hell of a drug, and that's what Jeroboam begins to operate on. So it causes him to do something overwhelmingly evil out of jealousy, right? If the people go up to do sacrifice in the house of Yahweh at Jerusalem, then shall the heart of this people turn again unto their Lord, even unto Rehoboam, king of Judah, and they shall kill me and go up to Rehoboam, king of Judah. So we said they're going to rebel against me and they're going to go back to serving the king of the southern kingdom, right? Verse 28, whereupon the king took counsel and made 2 calves of gold. You see that? So what he's doing is so counterproductive, because the whole reason, and he was told by the prophet Ahijah, who came bearing the words of Yahweh to him. He was told that the reason why he's running the kingdom and he's giving him the north is as a result of idolatry. Yet what does he do in order to cement his place in his mind as a king over the northern kingdom? Idolatry. Spiritual warfare. That's madness, man. So this is how evil us being separated is. It's all rooted and clad in nothing but utter evil. And that's why we got to be against it. That's why we fight fervently against Negro-only doctrine, and we'll fight fervently against any doctrine that is trying to stop the gathering of the 12 tribes, the reunification of the 2 kingdoms. Anything trying to come in between that, we're going to attack fervently, vehemently through the spirit and power of Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai, because we understand how evil it is for us to be separate. Where was I at? Verse 28, Salakia. Wherefore the king took counsel, Salakia. Got some black seed oil too on the way. Got a gift from a powerful princess out there in Detroit. Got some black seed oil. Lord, when they clear this cough up. Verse 28. Whereupon the king took counsel and made 2 calves of gold and said unto them, it is too much for you to go up to Jerusalem. So he's like, y'all, look, it's too much. Jerusalem's too far. We up north now, right? It is too much for you to go up to Jerusalem. Behold, thy gods, O Israel, which brought thee up out of the land of Egypt. So he gave them golden calves, the same ones we was worshiping in the wilderness that Israel pressured Aaron into making, right? And he said, one in Bethel. Bethel means the house of God, and the other in Dan. And this thing became a sin, for the people went to worship before the one even unto Dan. And he made a house of high places and made priests of the lowest of the people, which were not of the sons of Levi. This is where you get the witch doctors and the medicine men of Gad and Reuben and Simeon and Ephraim and things of that nature. It's where all that comes from, right? Verse 32. And that's why all the Levites resorted back to the south. And Jeroboam ordained a feast in the 8th month on the 15th day of the month, like unto the feast that is in Judah, which is the Passover, or feast of unleavened bread in particular. And he offered upon the altar. So did he in Bethel sacrificing unto the calves that he had made, and he placed in Bethel the priest on the high places which he had made. So he offered upon the altar which he had made in Bethel the 15th day of the 8th month, even the month which he had devised of his own heart, and ordained a feast unto the children of Israel. And he offered upon the altar and burnt incense. So he created their own holiday, their own gods to worship, to further separate themselves, right? When you take a look at scholastic reports that Salakia, I don't know what the hell just happened. My modem just went offline and came right back on. So Salakia. All right, but we back. But yeah, so going back to the point, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, the split of the kingdoms is evil, it's wicked, it's rooted in evil and wickedness, right? So I want to get this scripture here in 2 Chronicles, because I want to show there were brothers who were going out of their way, and you can read the whole book of Tobit. It is in reference to this as well. There's brothers that was going out of their way to try to mend the kingdom, Okay, so we're in a time now where that's an actual reality versus the times of old. But this was something that righteous brothers were always trying to do. And this is 2 Chronicles 18:1. Now, Jehoshaphat, we all know Jehoshaphat, that's where the valley of Jehoshaphat comes from, right? Had riches and honor and abundance and joined affinity with Ahab. So he was the king of Judah, but he made sure to go out of his way to join an affinity with his brother of the tribe of Ephraim, Ahab, who was king presiding over the northern kingdom during that time. Right, so there were brothers who were endeavoring. Matter of fact, what's that? I believe it's Ephesians 4:3. There we go. Yeah, Ephesians 4:3, endeavoring to keep the unity of the spirit in the bond of peace. That's what we need to be doing. You got to go out of your way to make sure that we're gathering in brotherhood amongst within tribes, tribe to tribe, within kingdoms, kingdom to kingdom. We're in the whole nation, man, because we're nationalists. We're Hebrew Israelite nationalists. We're about a nation, not about this kingdom, that kingdom, not just about tribes, skin tones, facial features. We're about a nation of people who descend from the man Jacob. That's what it's about. Who descends from the man Jacob, no matter what they look like, right? Who is a patrilineal descendant of the man Jacob, right? So let's go here to John, because we're going to show that, again, righteous brothers, especially in the South, man, we were longing to be reunited with our brothers of the North. Longing, man, and especially after the split and then getting carried into Assyria, y'all coming over here to the Americas, man. You know, we long for our king, right? Righteous brothers did, at least. So let's go here to John 11, and I'll start at 47. So like it. Am I tripping? Oh, that's 37. 42, my fault. 47. Salakia. Then gathered the chief priests and the Pharisees at council and said, what do we? For this man doeth many miracles. If we let him thus alone, all men will believe on him. And the Romans shall come and take away both our place and nations. Reference to Yahushua. And one of them, named Caiaphas, being high priest that same year, said unto them, ye know nothing at all, nor consider that it is expedient for us that one man should die for the people, that the whole nation perish not. This spake he not of himself, but being high priest that year, he prophesied that Yahushua should die for that nation, and not for that nation only, meaning not for the Jews, not just for the southern kingdom, but that also he should gather together in one the children of God that were scattered abroad. So part of his prophecy was not only is he going to die for us, but he's going to bring our brothers back together. We all going to come back together. That was the prophecy of this high priest. And that's why he joined himself in a conspiracy to kill Yahushua, because he knew that was the only way that we were going to realize this. And Yahushua has died for us to have this opportunity now to gather together as kingdoms, man, period. And this spake he, Salakia, we read that, verse 52 rather, and not for that nation only, but also he should gather together in one the children of the Most High that were scattered abroad. Then from that day forth, they took counsel together for to put him to death. So that's the whole reason why they took a counsel to put Yahushua to death, was in part to bring the kingdoms back together. That's what we need to be longing for unity between the South and the North, man. It's been so long since we've had that as a nation that it's imperative that we get it now, and we have an opportunity to have it now. Don't let Negro-only buffoons, they don't know a damn thing anyway. Don't let those buffoons attempt to stifle this. Don't let Satan get involved. Don't give Satan a foothold, man. Right? Let's go to no, it said that Yahushua was prophesied to gather in one, both kingdoms, right? So let's go here to Matthew 12 and 30, where Yahweh said, he that is not with me is against me, and he that gathereth not with me scattereth abroad. So he came to gather all the tribes. So if you aren't trying to gather all the tribes, you are scattering abroad. That's what you're doing. You're not gathering any damn thing. You're scattering, man. Thus saith Hamashiach Yahweh, right? Go to this in Luke. This is Luke 24 and 47. And that repentance and remission of sins should be preached in his name among all nations, beginning at Jerusalem. So it started with the southern kingdom, but it's to preach to all nations where all the 12 tribes are scattered, man. That's what it's about. Not just one kingdom, one nation, one tribe. It's to all the 12 tribes, man. All of us. Matthew 15 and 24. But he answered and said, I am not sent but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. That's who he sent to. The northern kingdom and the southern kingdom are both at this point in time a part of the lost sheep. So that's who Yahweh sent to. That's who he sent his people out to, all the tribes, to gather everybody. And if you ain't doing that, you're scattering, period. Negro only, you're scattering. Latino only, you're scattering. If you're not acknowledging 12 tribes of Israel in totality, you are scattering, period. That's why he said he had another people together which are not of this house. They weren't in the house of Judah. They were the house of Israel, right? And he made appearances to our brothers. How do we know this? Quetzalcoatl, right? Guamakina, the Blue Star, various things. And you know what? Through the Spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, because I was going into that a couple years ago, I'm going to start going back into that, showing you that they have prophecies here in the northern kingdom of Yahushai, of the Bible, verbatim prophecies that line up perfectly with the scriptures, man. Right? But it's up to us to go out and get this information, because these devils, they don't have this understanding. They have scholars that's going out and collecting things, and they can't even draw these parallels because they don't even know what the Bible is talking about to begin with. Right? Well, I'm going to get this, and I'm going to end off with this one. James 1:1. James, a servant of the Most High and of the Lord Yahweh Hamashiach, to the 12 tribes which are scattered abroad, greeting. That's the lost tribes. All 12 tribes are scattered abroad, and they're lost. So that's what we have to gather and bring back together under Hamashiach Yahweh. Doing anything less or different than that is scattering the sheep, period. So with that, I'll open up for questions. That's basically what I wanted to touch on. As far as the topic goes in the spirit. So like, I didn't know the water bottle was right there. But yeah, y'all can go ahead and put your questions in. The water, if anybody donated, I haven't seen it, but if anybody donated the water, all praise Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Yahweh Shem Yahushai Barakathum. To everybody. If you haven't donated, you can. The water, Sister Anita. All praise Yahweh Shem Yahushai. I mean, we definitely do have. Yeah, I'm familiar, Jeezy. We have brothers in Africa. Let's not get that twisted. But the reason why people have such a fascination with Africa is because the white man has emphasized that Africa is the cradle of civilization. So because the white man puts so much credence on Africa, you see black people begin to obsess with it. What do I think of the Dead Sea Scrolls? The Dead Sea Scrolls, you already know they're not ready for that. But the Dead Sea Scrolls are a collection of documents that assist in us substantiating the validity of the Bible. No, it doesn't, Elijah Pinkett. No, it doesn't. Acts, and number one, you have to understand, if you want to prove that all men can be saved, you need to go to a book of prophecy, or like an authoritative book of prophecy, or of the words of Hamashiach Yahweh. That's what you would have to do. Y'all got to stop going to Acts and anything after the gospel or before Revelations to try to substantiate all people being saved, because those books do not even pertain to authoritative things of that nature. Men everywhere does not mean all men. Acts, to say that Acts 17 is authority, you would have to be able to prove it. Acts 17 is the historical record of mission that men went on. That's what the whole book of Acts is, right? So I would love to understand how that is giving a definitive authority to something. I would love to understand that. Romans 12 and 20. It's the same thing Yahweh Shah is teaching in Matthew 5, brother, about loving enemies, Israelites. Salaki. Virgins, because they're not defiled with strange women. Strange women represent contrary philosophy. Exactly, they put Paul over Christ. Never heard of Gabriel's revelation tab. Again, 1 Thessalonians, these are not authoritative. That's a letter to a church. I'm dealing with authoritative scripture, bro. You see what I'm saying? Listen, give me something authoritative, man. Not a letter that somebody wrote that you don't necessarily understand the context of. Please. That doesn't substantiate authority. Elijah, you got to try harder. Notice every place you're going is not in the prophets or in the gospel. You notice that, right? Why do our people want to save whites so bad? Because they've developed Stockholm syndrome. Again, if it's not in, you know what, Elijah, you're in timeout because you don't understand. You're in timeout. You don't get it. Israelite servant, what do you mean? Yeah, what is a hit? I don't understand what this hit is. No, those are not actual Jews. The real Jews in Yemen are known as the El Akdam. Okay, if you watch the video I did with the Yemenite woman, you understand that marriage, you only should marry Israelite women, but technically the only women by law who are forbidden for us to marry are Canaanites. The Dead Sea Scrolls does not have the New Testament. What are you talking about? Well, then Black educational TV is being scary. They're gonna there's something called Black identity extremists. So anyone that's pro-Black is gonna be labeled as a terrorist. Period. It's already happening. The first Black identity extremist that got prosecuted was only pro-Black, nothing else. I don't know what a kafing is, but if rabbinic Judaism is accepting them 9 times out of 10, They fake. I mean, it don't matter if he have a hidden chest cam. So what if he has a hidden camera? We supposed to let our yay be yay anyway. It's Yahweh, not Yahweh. All praise to the Most High. To my fellow Nazarite. Chilling with the big Nazarite. There you go, Daniel. You got it. Oh, G-Con. Genesis 12 speaks of all. There's plenty of Bible verses that speak of all nations. But in what but what about them? Yeah, that's a good precept, Hashayat. What's good to the soldier Isaiah Bangad? Sheepskin the Gadite. I'm not understanding your question. All praise Yahweh Bashem Yahweh. Shalom to New Orleans. Eliphaz is an Edomite. His name even is a reference to idolatry. He's an Edomite. I mean, if you can have one, RL, I mean, I'm not going to stop you. Exactly. They go all around trying to convert people in under that. They did it all in Africa. This one, when a lot of people talk about this Northern Kingdom tribes in Africa, yeah, there are some, Yoruba, etc. But some of them are claiming Northern Kingdom tribes because rabbinical Judaism went and told them to say that. They told them to say that because they're trying to cover up who the actual Israelites are. Hold on. The Spirit always manifests who we are. Khan. Tell GMS that and USC they need to stop fighting each other. These brothers ain't gonna come to the table, man. We just all got to build what we supposed to build, and that's it. Did Deacon said the best translation was the ESV? I'd have to confirm that with him. I wouldn't say so. Who are the Canaanites today? Many people in West Africa. Various peoples. Okay, 1 Corinthians 9 to 20 to 21. 1 Corinthians 9 and 20. And as the Jews I became as a Jew, that I might gain the Jews. To them that are under the law, as under the law, that I might gain them that are under the law. To them that are without the law, as without the law, being not without law to God, but under the law to Christ, that I might gain them that are without the law. Notice he's saying being not without the law. The question about under law and without the law are different things, see, and this is why they play the game. Being under law means being subject to the judgments of the law, which those who lived in Israel during that time were. But if you didn't live in Israel, you were not subject to the judgments of the law. But that's why he says, but not without the law. He's not without the law, meaning he still follows the law, even if the land where he lives legalizes things that our customs don't, i.e. idolatry or adultery are things that aren't illegal in the United States of America, or homosexuality. You can partake in those things and without any fear of legal repercussions coming upon you, right? But why don't we do these things? Because we're not without the law. So that has nothing to do with the law being optional. That's madness. You know, SICARRI, man, we growing. You know, we got a quality band of rebels, if you ask me, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. What are you talking about, Ezekiel in Israel? I'm not familiar with the Pashtun. I don't know who that is. Let me look them up. These are some Afghani people. It's 30 million of these people. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, my brother. I don't think these are Jews. I'll be real with you. But I'll look into it. Where will sinners of the other nations be? I'm not understanding your questions. Yes, we know through Abraham's seed all nations will be blessed. No one's y'all act like we deny that. You just have a separate understanding from us on what that means and the ramifications of that. Well, we don't have to just have the same tribe, other Israelites. Yeah, we need a camp in the Bay. Well, yeah, I wouldn't recommend it, but as far as if you want to be technical as far as the law is concerned, I'm just going by what the law said. But I'll follow advice, and I'm not interested in no heathen woman. Yeah, exactly, Isaiah. Exactly. I mean, you'll know when a war is coming, bro. When an actual, literal, physical war is coming, we're not going to have to ask a question about it. There's not a timeline defined in scripture for that 17 vivo. That's right, Mr. Trueblend. Ancient Watchman. Yes, I have learned temple wisdom from Quanalawa as well as Judah Nazareth. Most certainly. Who translated the Dead Sea Scrolls? I want to say there are various translations of the Dead Sea Scrolls. Shalom Kingdom Properties. Yeah, we got Phoenix, Arizona brothers. We got brothers in Phoenix, AZ. Hit the email. Exodus 17. So we put the email in for Carlos Jennis. So we can plug him in with the brothers in AZ. Passion to Afghanistan, who everyone seems to be here. Yeah, no, I ain't messing with the Passion cast. I gotta look into them. We don't have brothers in Milwaukee per se, but we all over the Midwest. Hit the email. Nah, I used to think that the Gypsies might be, but after looking into them, no, the Gypsies are not Israelite. Oh, Ancient Watchman is Ayash, I thought. Ayash, brother. Man, you let me down. Y'all Bashim Yao Shabrakatah, Sheepskin Gadite. I mean, you need to always be looking at the original manuscripts, bro. You need to always, Vincenzo, you need to always be cross-referencing. I'm not getting down with the Aborigines neither. It's going to take a lot to convince me of that. Well, it's in the Bible. King Israel Bostic. Well, Tommy boy, not no Bibles, but no internet, and there won't be camps in the streets. I don't know, SICARRI. I'm not sure yet. Yeah, we got brothers in Louisiana. I don't know how far from Baton Rouge. Hit our email us, and we'll get it together. Brian Sanders, where you at? Shalom, Justin Davis, and Most High Christ. Anybody who's trying to send me something on Facebook, I'm back in Facebook jail. I'm back in Facebook jail. I was out for 3 days. O'Shane Appleton, that's just a reference. The Most High's name being made known is him revealing himself to us through an act, through basically promising us something and then making good on that promise, not that people were just ignorant to the name of Yahweh. So that's how we understand that. Damn, this chat board be tripping. I'm trying to make sure I'm responding to everybody, and the chat board be tripping. Yeah, the concordance is pretty accurate. I mean, you just got to study out. Hopefully soon we'll be down in Little Haiti. The next summit may be in Miami. We'll see what happens. But Light of Zion, they be going to Little Haiti, South Beach, as well as Fort Lauderdale. All praise Yahweh Shemel Shai Nuki, or Nunki rather. What's your view on baptism? I believe water baptism is as good as animal sacrifice. Yeah, Dallas, nigga, we in Dallas. What you mean you in Dallas, man? I'm in Dallas right now. What you mean? Pull up. Email. Somebody put the email for Brian Sanders, please. He had a mustache Bible. You think they're gonna bring that Bible burning back? Why? Because that's part of how you worship the Most High, brother. We've already gone into that. Ezekiel 45 and 17. Bro, they had me out 3 days, bro. Caught another case. Yeah, man. We have Phoenix Camp, Carlos. Y'all got to make sure the moderators, y'all better make sure these guys are seeing these. You need to at these guys so they see it and make sure they get these emails. Yeah, the law we put into our hearts after the wilderness we brought under the bond of the covenant. That's pursuant to Ezekiel 20. In the wilderness, there will be rebels, though. So it's the rebels will be purged, then will be brought under the bond of the covenant. I don't see just because somebody was genocided and enslaved does not make them Israelites. I don't know if y'all know that or not. There's very specific points to being an Israelite. Khan, Shalom, Kingdom Properties. I like that. I already know where you're going with that. We got a brother in Fayetteville, Ayan, your cousin in Fayetteville, Doc Whitley. Somebody get Doc Whitley the email. We got Ayan Yakazar rather in Fayetteville. Been out there for years, ain't hooked up with nobody. So we need to make that happen. Y'all need to at him though. At him. I've seen chariots before in California. I don't know when the race war is going to be. Don't give me too much, don't ask me too many questions about that I have to speculate about, because it's not all that profitable. I just know they're inevitable. Every nation will have to serve Israelites. White Jews are afraid of debating us. No, the Somalis were not the ancient Egyptians. The Sudanese were the ancient Egyptians. Somalis are Cushites, along with the people of Eritrea, Ethiopia, and Djibouti. I'm not sure when we're going to be in the Bay. We got to figure it out. How the Israelites pray, Matthew 6. Yes, it's going to be the RFID chip, Daniel Hooks. Yeah, Ariel, that's what it's talking about, Assyrians and Egyptians. Chantel Johnson, yeah, I need to get to my people from Louisiana. But we'll see. Yeah, how was when I answer that question? Of course, he's giving the sin offering because that's how you worship the Most High, bro. Period. You have to. That's how you worship him. In Genesis, Sky High Kid, if you think Russians didn't enslave Israelites, you need to study history. Yeah, Judah Nazareth, Shalom. I this is all very new to me about Orthodox more. All our previous interactions were very peaceful. So now he's talking about he's coming for me and I'm running from him. And literally the first I heard that he wanted to debate with me was from Deacon yesterday on the phone. So that's very interesting. Solar Mind has not called me about it at all. So until I hear from him directly, I'm just not even going to dignify it because it's very peculiar to me that he would do that, especially predicated upon our previous interactions, that he would move in an ignoble way. So I guess we'll figure it out depending on subject matter. Of course, I'm open to debating him. And I'm supposed to be debating Black Jesus Minister as well on polygamy, I think, soon. And I got the finale with Bashir on Friday. So we'll see what happens, but I don't know what's going on with Orthodox more and why he's acting like that. It's already all over the place, not just in Sweden and Wisconsin. No, I ain't really spoke on that yet, Alicia. I mean, Robbie, it depends, man. Things like that, they depend. It's everybody needs to figure that out for themselves. You know what I mean? Israelite serving, yes. Yeah, Black Jesus Minister, I debated him years ago and shut him down. This nigga had the nerve to debate me on, was Obama good for Black people? Info for San Bernardino, Baseline and Waterman every Saturday afternoon. Baseline and Waterman. Yeah, not Assyrians, Syrians, different people. Aram, not Ashur. Give them the email. Oh, if he's not being contentious, it's fine, but I just don't want him running around talking about somebody's running from him. And literally, I haven't heard directly from him or from the moderator of the debate league of his interest in debating me. And I'm in Facebook jail, so there's no way I'm seeing any of this. So the brother gotta he's gotta be he's gotta move a little bit better as far as that goes. Because I definitely don't want him going around. If you already know the type of tension that's gonna go around for nigga go around saying you running from him. And I don't even know anything about this. Well, kind of kind of it is because we know there's going to be a war in heaven pursuant to Revelations 12 when the angels are going to be fighting against, the Air Force or the Space Force or whatever. Yeah, I know. I'm familiar with Benito. I've already brought that out before, Steve Jones. I believe there are Arabs, they're people of Ishmael, and they're still our enemies because they don't belong there either. What is my thought on IC 800 Man March? Hey, beautiful. It was beautiful. You know, I'm not sure yet, Quan. True, Chantel. To the crazy. No, oral sex is not marriage. Ezekiel, what is Canaanite DNA? How does anyone have it? How do we know? Where is the original Canaanite DNA sample that we confirm is an actual Canaanite and substantiate what the DNA is? You guys got to watch these pseudosciences because it's a furtherance of white supremacy. No, we can have haircuts. Ezekiel 5 is not. Ezekiel 5 is the Most High giving somebody instructions to do something so a parable can be displayed. So a visual aid can be used to teach something about a prophecy that's coming to pass. So, Okay, I'll check your video out, Judah. I'm not sure, Quan. I just told you. My answer is Daniel, the first chapter. Let me read it. Daniel 1 and 3. And the king spake unto Ashpenaz, the master of his eunuchs, that he should bring certain of the children of Israel, and of the king's seed, and of the princes, children in whom was no blemish, but well favored and skillful in all wisdom, and cunning in knowledge, and understanding science, and such as had ability in them to stand in the king's palace, and whom they might teach the learning on the tongue of the Chaldeans. So we knew about science. Yeah, the Mani tribe are in Thailand. I'm familiar with them. Yeah, there are plenty of white Cubans like that, and they're not like light skinned Cubans. They're actual Spaniards and Jewish people. You just got to make Inquisition like a lot of people that's Caribbean don't have the same issue that people who aren't do as far as differentiating. Just like Brazil, a lot of Brazilians that you see are Edomites. They're straight Portuguese. Um, and that's just a fact. Like when you go to Brazil or you go to Cuba, you don't see the Edomites being the predominant people. But when you are seeing people who are tourists or coming to the States, usually only the Edomites can actually even afford to make that move. I mean, you look at our logo, Steve Jones. Yeah, John 4 and 22. We got brothers teaching in Spanish. Officer Abaja. He's got Spanish videos out. I got some Spanish videos. They weren't marching like MLK. A lot of you guys are over analytical. The march was not a MLK march, and nobody thinks an MLK march is going to get anything done. A lot of y'all need to be more thoughtful about things. Yeah, Negritos, I see the truth. Let me look, Daniel Harris. This is what I was looking for. Okay, 6 and 46. For it is impossible for those who were once enlightened and have tasted of the heavenly gift and were made partakers of the Holy Ghost and have tasted the good word of the Most High and the powers of the world to come, if they shall fall away, to renew them again unto repentance, seeing they crucify to themselves the Son of the Most High afresh and put him to an open shame. Meaning, if you fall out and you turn back, the only way for you to be reconciled is for Yahweh to be crucified again. Good luck, kingdom properties. Right? So, let me scroll down. How about Shemiah Shabrakatah? Mr. Toronis, I don't know why Christians do what they do. Israel has no allies, for real. And if it were, it certainly wouldn't be Christians. I would rather say like Moors in the nation more than a Christian or Orthodox Muslim. I don't know the Spanish. What's the Spanish? Hold on 1 second. If you go to look at SICARRI 909, and there's plenty, and I have some Spanish videos here that I'm gonna upload onto the main channel actually to have them. I just need the brother to help me out with the titles. If you look up SICARRI 909, you'll be able to get some of the Spanish stuff. All right, SICARRI 909. So I'm trying to really Judah, man, I just try to be patient as I can be. All right? Well, yeah, naked, but not as naked, Ariel, in his drawers and stuff. I mean, that's your Joseph, that's your business if that's what you want to do. Well, yeah, I mean, you could follow your lateral line, but we know what a lineup typically is in reference to. Salakia, SICARRI Zelotes. My fault. That's the Spanish channel. SICARRI Zelotes. You ain't lying, Kabibi. We don't just say we hate people because the Most High hates them. We are to hate what God hates. No, Samoans and Hawaiians are not Israelites. They're Japhites. I'm not exactly sure, John, but they got content, and I got some Spanish content I'll be uploading, Most High willing, onto these main channels. Pexter, what you mean? I'm not familiar with that tribe, Ezekiel. Anybody who says Hispanics are Mongolians is a damn fool, because there's so many holes in that theory that they came from that region. It's ridiculous. They don't even share like the same physiological traits as those people. Appreciate you as well, Steve. Well, you have to look into all these things. Again, a lot of y'all are trying to isolate things. If there's people who are enslaved and genocided who are not Israelites, okay? Yes, we could trim our beards. You follow your natural line. You cannot cut into your line. Of course, yeah, we work with sisters, man. We got some powerful sisters, man, that you know, are about this work and about assisting the men that do this work, man. Real love amongst brothers and sisters. And it's a very powerful thing. Ashkenazis are Hebrews. They're not actually Ashkenazi. They're Edomites. Yeah, he's speaking that Yiddish Judah Nazareth, because that kind of was what threw me off too. There'll be other nations from all other nations. Not cardinal, brother James. It's carnal. Everlasting life is carnal, meaning we will have a perpetual reign and dominion over the earth. Joseph, I've known several brothers who I was shocked by their strength and their walk falling out. Several brothers, far more than I'd like to admit. Yeah, I've heard of Yahweh being Yahweh. He's a nut and he's in prison. Yeah, it's SICARRI Zelotes then, like the brother posted. SICARRI Zelotes is where the Spanish videos are at, with the Zebulonite teacher. The people of Fiji are Elamites. Zechariah 5. Just my beast rule bill. Zechariah 5 ends at 11, brother. I came on the truth for World Star Hip Hop. Nah, Pexter is out of his mind. Yeah, y'all gonna have to come a lot harder to prove that Aboriginals are Israelites. I'll be honest with you. How did they get there? Of course, I'm circumcised. I was circumcised at birth, and every Israelite man should be circumcised. Yeah, SICARRI Zelotes got the Spanish channel. And like I said, I got some Spanish videos I gotta upload. That's Isaiah 60. Or Isaiah 65, brother. This is Isaiah 66 and 17. They did sanctify themselves and purify themselves in the gardens behind one tree, in the midst, eating swine's flesh, and the abomination and the mouse shall be consumed together, saith Yahweh. Isaiah 66 and 17. We can trim down our beards. Yes, I've already answered that question. I'm not familiar with a Nakawam. Yeah, line up is when you're edged with a razor. So yeah, you can't do that. Everybody, I'm gonna be honest with you, Ariel. That's not even an expedient question. That's not an important question, Ken. Chantel banging. Kanye, we getting Ezekiel up out of there. He's up out of there. I'll look into the damn aboriginals, but I doubt it. I can't see it. G Conscious, what are you even here doing, man? Matter of fact, you shield squad, man. You're out of here. You're in timeout. Well, the curses are, the spirit is identifying through the curses. That's right, Steve Jones. Yes, all of Israel will be saved. Who is that? The water Derek. Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai Barakatah. No, JMZ. You're not gonna die. No, you'll be translated. I don't know what you mean, Rob drew the sea. The two anointed ones are Zerubbabel and Joshua in Zechariah 4. The tribe in Mexico is Issachar. Ezekiel, your questions are all over the place, man. I'm not understanding what's going on. An African and a Hamite is not necessarily the same thing. All praise Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. Nuki Dent. Ooh, that's a crazy point right there, Judah. That's a crazy point. I never even realized that. No, it's not wrong to tell a brother he's acting like a bitch. I do it all the time, all real. Sometimes that's exactly what a brother needs to hear, the truth. Yeah, G-Con he's over here having a we over here building, dealing with different things, and he's going into some whole other stuff. G-Con, get the hell out of here, bro. Stop trying to save white people. The ancient watchman, Ayash, I thought there's nothing to explain, brother. You explained it. It's plain in the text. that happened. I haven't seen any Omarosa interviews, and I'll laugh my ass off at this whole thing because you was that white man's lapdog for all that time, and now all of a sudden he's racist. You was a loyal hoe, a loyal bed wench for them. Now you're, you know what I'm saying? Like, whatever, Omarosa, get it together. All of Israel gonna be saved. That don't mean all of Israel ain't gonna die to this second death, though. No, I'm not from Texas. I just stay here. Translated means you take a word from one language and use the same word that mean the same thing in another language to express it. That's translated. We're not going to get the same reward. There's nothing wrong with you lawfully as far as that goes, procreating with her, but you have no business being in love with a white woman. She's the goddamn devil. That's the problem. There are plenty of eligible, willing, and needful of your love Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian women that you need to be giving your love to, not some dog that God is going to destroy, that he hates. You understand what I'm saying? Leave them dogs alone. To hell with a goddamn white woman, man. I can't stand no nigga who say he in love with a white girl, man. Why? You're in love with this society, man. Exactly, chill. All praise Yahweh Shemel Shah. Yahweh was the greatest, man. We just his servant. No, that shall see it no more against me in Egypt. He said we weren't gonna go in Egypt. It's like Eddie, because brothers don't know. Brothers just aren't familiar. They just heard. Sometimes you just heard something for so long, you just repeat it. It's not that big of a error, but it is an error. Yes, certainly, Joseph. I believe Yahweh Shai Solomon. Oh man, so like I'm having issues. I'm trying to make sure I get everything. You know what? I'm jumping to the end. Y'all gonna have to repost because I'm lost patience. Shalom Shathar Debaka War. Read how Elijah and Enoch were translated. That's what that means in context. There are two types of melanin. Their melanin and our melanin. Manny one up is not technically a sin. Only with Canaanites is it an actual sin. No Somalians, Samoans are Japhetic, not Somalians. Egypt, yeah, essentially it means bondage. It's a little more complicated than that, but essentially. God, man, this chat is booming. We judge by the spirit. 22 and 36. Then he said unto them, but now he that hath a purse, let him take it, and likewise his scrip, and he that hath no sword, let him sell his garment and buy one. Meaning get a gun if you can. If you legally can, go get one. That's my take on that. Oh, translation. Yeah, it essentially means we'll be taken from our physical bodies and translated into our spiritual celestial bodies to rest for a time until we are reborn back in the flesh. Baba Kushah means thank you. We have videos on it. Just look up SICARRI, Star of David. Yeah, it's okay for a woman to cut their hair. I wouldn't advise going too low, though. Shalom, Northern Kingdom prophets. No, we will not be immortal in the kingdom. There's only one immortal. That's Yahweh. Because Israelites spoke Greek. That's why. How do you precept Galatians 3 and 13 to 14 with Deuteronomy 28 and 15? We have it. Just look up SICARRI, curse of the law. All right, man. This chat is getting too much, man. Yet Jesse and Isaiah are the same name. Yeshaya, yeah. Well, that is what it is. They can hate. We embrace the hate. He wrote his letters in whatever language pertained to the area which he wrote to. No, that's not what happens in death. But we won't die. That's the problem. People just think when you're not living this life, it's because you died, and that's not necessarily true. Well, that's not a sin, but it's just something that you probably shouldn't have done. Yeah, hit the like button, like, share, subscribe if you're not. This chat is going crazy this morning, wearing my patience thin. I believe so, but that's speculation. No, the Cron tribe. I know I was supposed to, so I need to. Yeah, patience starting to wear thin, Judah. Nobody's gonna die, Shell, but you'll be translated. You'll move from one plane of existence to another. The ball earth does not get us further away from the Most High. Y'all be bugging with this. Again, flat earth it is what it is. I'm not speaking against it. What I'm saying is that y'all be putting too much emphasis on it. Big L, you'll know when there's a race war, when they're coming to kill you, you will defend yourself. All right? Is that mythological, Fire Earth? No, no one is immortal but Yahweh. No one. Let me get the scripture. First Timothy 1 and 17. Now unto the King, eternal, immortal, invisible, the only wise God, be honor and glory forever and ever. All right? That's Yahweh. Amen. He's the only immortal. That's it. Nobody is immortal. Nobody's going to be immortal except him. Tawada JH125. I haven't heard of it, but I've heard of different monuments, and it's crazy because I just started to look into that a little bit. Not that in particular, but that book just literally last night. So that's the spirit. I'm gonna look into that. The water on 9. These people is running me thin today, man. It's because of Kola Yahweh Shah, yes. That's right. Who asked it? Yeah, brother, smash that like button. Well, there's a lot of difference. You're not smoking something, man. So No, that's not death. Again, this is the concept you're not understanding. Being translated from one plane of existence to another is not dying. Dying is getting cancer, getting shot, having a heart attack. All praises, Tanya. Yeah, when we get translated. Salvia, this guy is crazy. People are losing. They know, hell no, I don't believe no damn ghost. Let's be serious, man. What everlasting life is the perpetual reign of the nation of Israel and dominion over the earth. I know about ley lines. I don't know what you mean, Darian. Exactly. Demons, yes. Ghosts, no. The Sabians, those are Cushites. Exactly. Of course you can, RL. But you need to use that for medicine. That's what it was given for. That's right. That's right, Brian. No, wine is not the only. You can drink alcohol. What are you confused about, cold? We got videos on it. Go watch our videos on it. Well, it's not immortal because it has a point of existence. It was created, and it can at any point be destroyed if he wants it to. So that's not what immortality is necessarily. Yeah, y'all are doing too much today, man. I ain't got the time. I ain't got patience for y'all today. I'll be honest. This is moving too fast. So I'm gonna sign out. I love everybody, every Israelite that's in here. It's just too damn early for this. So with that, I'm gonna close out. I'm gonna give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, the water everybody, Shalom.